Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are here together with Matti Rautkivi from the Energy Transition Lab. Matti, how are things on your end?
Hi, Björn. Good. How about you?
Well, I am reading news here about EDF and things happening in the UK, and I just couldn't wait until our next week broadcast to ask you about this. So, can you just boil this down? What is going on here?
Yeah, I think this is a first time I see something like this, and as we have been talking, Björn, that this is a novel situation and snapshot to the future. So something new for sure. But look this sentence. So basically, National Grid, which is the system operator in the UK, has asked to shut down or lower the output from the nuclear plant in the UK. And the reasoning what they say here is that to help balance the grid and prevent blackouts. So and what the other interesting line they say here that during the COVID-19 situation, it making it more difficult for power grids to balance supply and demand. So I think it's really interesting that now we are in the situation that what we have considered to be one of the most reliable sources and the kind of real base load standard power plant nuclear is now being shut down because they're afraid that it will cause blackout in the system and in the grid to balance the grid. So a completely new situation, and I think this is a first real evidence that kind of implementation action that in these situations when what we kind of face in UK, the inflexibility is just start to be a problem. It's kind of real problem. But we have been talking with you here now for a couple of weeks. But these are now actions that need to happen.
Yeah, this is really really surprising, and I guess we have been talking about it. We did look at UK in our last broadcast on the coal front, where they haven't been using coal now for almost a month. So can we look at the data here? What does it say, and what's your sort of quick analysis on this situation?
Yeah, sure. And you shouldn't be surprised about this because we have been talking that this will happen. It's just really happening now. So everything is going so fast. But
speed is unparalleled, I think, for this business at least.
Definitely, but in the UK in general, we have been talking about UK, and if we look now once again, let's look the COVID period in that sense that mid March, end of April, that the UK the load has been down 12.6%, gas down, coal heavily down. We talk about they have shut down their coal since early April. Renewables up, so share of renewables is significantly up. Nuclear generation already they have reduced it by 20%. So they have already to really take this situation or handle this situation in the UK. They have done already quite a lot, and you can see it when we look the data a little bit that what has happened there. Kind of the production size that the nuclear has been diminishing already since the beginning of the year. Load is down, and now what is kind of happening here right now during the next weeks or so is that the load is down, and now what you can see here is that the sun is shining more in the UK, which is just natural. It's more sun during the spring times and in the summer, so it has been increasing, but it has been actually relatively mild winds in April. If you compare this kind of light, or we can even click that, I think let's click it like that, so you can see it better here. What's the share of wind here? So it has been relatively light compared to this kind of February-March time frame when the wind was blowing hard. So now what is going to happen during the weekend? According to predictions there is that it's going to be windy, it's going to be sunny, and on top of that there is a 3 days bank holiday in UK, so the load will be even more down. Right. And so this is kind of the perfect storm in that sense that this gonna happen during the weekend, and that's why they now do this kind of a special arrangements to try to handle the situation. But we can look at also that actually this is kind of my prediction is that will happen is that based on the data here that or the dispatch data where you can see it better, that we had in early April when it was windy across the northern and central Europe, that we have wind and solar there, windy for a day, and the prices go negative here. And now you can see actually here, if you compare April 5th and April 19th, the yellow part is higher, so it's gonna be a lot more wind and solar, and that's causing now these typical issues that we have talked, that the prices go negative. But now the prediction is that it will be even windier, and that is now then causing these big challenges then, and once again it's about the inflexibility that how they need to prepare for this.
I think this is a fascinating screenshot here, because you can clearly see the correlation here between the share of renewables and how it just pushes prices down, and you can also see it on the net trade. Just boiling it down here, looking at what we're expecting for the weekend. So low demand, unparalleled, maybe a record for the UK in terms of renewable share. Nuclear power being asked to shut down. What's your expectation for prices in this situation, Matti?
I think that for sure prices will go negative. I think that's for given. That we're gonna see price levels. Hopefully we're gonna see renewable levels that are beyond this kind of 60%, what has been seen in the UK, because that's once again new thing. But I think, Björn, what is interesting here is that why to shut down nuclear plants? Why in the first place? Why they do? If you look this now here, for example, these couple of days, they still have a kind of 6 gigawatts of gas running in their system.
Right.
So why not to shut down gas and keep the nuclear running in the first place? The problem is the inflexibility. So now if they shut down all the gas, they don't have anything to balance the system. So their gas plants, what they have, they need to be spinning, they need to be running their old gas turbines, so big combined cycle gas turbine running 50% load. So anyway, you need to run those plants that they are then able to react. And that's why to keep the gas plants running, they need to shut down nuclear plants. And this is the situation that we could really fix if we have the flexibility. So imagine if you had energy storage, if you have truly flexible gas plants, what you could do, you could take all the renewables there, and if you have too much, you charge your batteries there, and keep the gas plants shut down, just idle there. And when you need that power, first you discharge from your batteries, and you get these kind of flexible gas assets like reciprocating engines up and running in 30 seconds, full load in 2 minutes, and you can react immediately. So that's kind of a interesting or kind of situation. And now that because of you have that inflexibility, you need to do this kind of shifting there, that you shut down nuclear plants and you try to keep your gas plants running. And this is now new normal. This is now new normal. But let's look into the future. This is kind of so evident that this kind of inflexibility just can't survive. It just can't.
No. And I mean, looking at this now, having to shut down a nuclear power plant in order to avoid a blackout. I never thought I would, I never thought I would hear that, this year. And then having to choose between, the lesser of two evils here, keeping the old gas turbines running, and actually shutting down the nuclear capacity. Let's come back to this, Matti, on after the weekend and see how this actually played out. No doubt, this is exciting, almost like watching a football game in play out live. So I look forward to following up this, and to our listeners out there, please stay engaged and follow this when we have the fresh data on Monday. Matti, any closing words from your side?
No, I think what you said, it will be interesting weekend and weekend in UK, and definitely something that we will learn for the energy transition.
So no more coal and no more nuclear in the UK. Let's see how this plays out, and talk to you again next week. Thanks, everybody.